I've received hundreds of comments asking if I would share some of my favorite woodworking tips and tricks. Well, ask and you shall receive. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite woodworking tips and tricks that I've had the privilege of learning from those who came before me. Let's go. If you're a woodworker, the likelihood of you owning a shop vac is about 99.9%. When it comes to your filters for your shop vac, whether it be a HEPA filter or just a normal standard filter, these things can get expensive. Well, I've got a great hack for you. What I've got here is a trash bag, and I just set that filter in there for now. What you're gonna need for this hack is a drill with a 1/4-inch drill bit. Run up to Lowe's and get yourself a 1/4-inch bolt that's at least 6 inches long, 2 washers, and pick yourself up a nut. And no, I'm not talking about one of your kids. Before we get started, make sure to slap on your PPE. Grab your drill, and what you want to do is find the center of the top of your filter and drill a hole all the way through that top. Put one of the washers on the bolt and slip that bolt right through the inside of this filter out of that hole. Put on your next washer and tighten up that nut. Now grab your drill and take that 1/4-inch bit out of there, and what you want to do is set your drill right over top of that bolt and lock your chuck over that bolt. When wearing gloves, be sure not to hit that trigger or you'll be in trouble. Now grab a set of channel locks or some pliers and hold that nut and put your drill in reverse and slowly hit the trigger until it tightens up. Just like that. Now put the bag over your unit and I'll meet you outside. Make sure to keep your drill in reverse during this whole process. Now you're ready to scare the crap out of your geese. I did not see Gus and Stewie over there. Make sure that there's no animals around you when you do this. Not only does this save you money, but it's also super satisfying to watch. And if you have access to a compressor and an air chuck, that will make this thing extra clean and keep some of that dust off of you. Now, before y'all jump in the comments talking about, way to go, Daniel, you just destroyed a HEPA filter. Let me show you what you need to do after you remove that bolt. You could either use a hot glue gun and fill that hole that you drilled, and that will seal it back up, or you can make yourself a 1/4-inch plug to glue in there, and then just drill it back out the next time. Hack number 2 is a clamp hack. These 3-foot clamps from Lowe's are stupid expensive. So say you got to clamp something that's 3 foot or 4, 5, 6, 7 foot. I'm not going to go and spend thousands of dollars on clamps to get that accomplished. Luckily, I've got the perfect hack that'll save your dollar. I guess we'll change the video to woodworking hacks. Ratchet straps. That's right, ratchet straps. Get yourself some ratchet straps out your garage and get them laid out on your table. Make sure you toss your slack over the edge and grab the pieces that you want glued up. Obviously, this is just a demonstration, so bear with me. Now grab the opposite end of where the ratchet is, bring that around, pull that slack until your 2 ends meet, and then connect your 2 ends and just tighten that just a bit. Do the same process. Grab your last strap, pull that slack out, and ratchet those down. Then you can grab some cawls, slide them up under there, and use your less expensive clamps to clamp your cawls down to keep everything nice and flat. Now once you get your cawls on there, just double check that everything's nice and tightened. If you're worried about denting up your sides here, just put some cloth underneath those ratchets and you'll be just fine. Here's an extra hack for beginners. Does your bit move around on you when you're trying to drill a hole? Here's how to solve that. Now, obviously that was a bit exaggerated, but here's a good way to make sure that that bit doesn't jump around on you. Get yourself a 1x4 or a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, or even 1/2 inch. Either one will work. You want it around 8 to 10 inches long. It doesn't really matter, but I like mine about 10 inches. Come in on that piece about maybe 1.5 inches and punch a hole right around the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. The reason we punch that hole is it helps the bit not bounce around on you, but that's also not the purpose of this jig. Now, when drilling that hole, just make sure that you're holding your drill as level as possible. It's not that important, but it is sort of important. This right here is just to act as a guide for our drill bit. So put that over the mark that you want to have drilled out. And just clamp that down. And now you've got a guide, and it'll help that bit from jumping around. Jump around! Now you may be saying, Daniel, you had to drill the hole to make the jig, so what's the point? Well, the point is just to make a guide. That's not a perfect hole, but it just keeps that bit in place for you. Just a helpful tip for beginners who may be a little bit intimidated by the drill bits. Now, this next hack is one of my favorite hacks. Now, I've made my share of tapering jigs, but what about when you need to make a taper on a longer piece? Those taper jigs are only meant for the width of your table saw. So what if I need one this long? Let's say I want to go from nothing to 3/4 by the end of my board. How do I make that happen? Well, it's actually quite easy. Check this out. I'll get a piece of my 3/4 inch stock, cut to about 1 inch. Just making a little block. Get yourself some blue tape. Make sure you're lined up with the back side flush with the other piece. And this piece that you're taping to can be a little bit longer, or it could be the same size. Either way, this will work. We'll tape our front side, and then we'll come to our back side, and we'll spread our piece to fit our 3/4 inch spacer in there, right at the very back side of our boards. And then we'll tape the back side. Now, just for precaution, I'll add a couple more pieces of tape throughout this length. Now, just line up the very top of your piece that you want tapered with that kerf on the inside of the kerf of that blade, and you're ready to make this taper. Let that 1x4 that you taped to ride right up against that fence, and take this cut nice and slow, keeping both pieces steady. And voila! Now you've got yourself the perfect taper. So this board was 3 inches in width. Now we put that taper on it, and we went from 3 inches all the way to 2 1/4. Perfect. If you found today's video helpful and useful to you, make sure to leave a like on the video and hit subscribe. It really truly helps the channel. And for my regular viewers and subscribers, if you like seeing videos like this and want to see more, drop a comment below and let me know, and I'll make it happen. Skål.